evening. Welcome to the Jamaica Plain Forum. My name is Annie Martinez. I'm the director of the Jamaica Plain Forum. I'm curious, by a show of hands, whose first time is it to the forum? Oh, wow. Thank you. Wow. That's a very special welcome to the forum is a joint production of First Church and the Boston office for the Institute for Policy Studies. And our purpose is to bring people together to have face-to-face conversations about the issues that are facing our communities and the planet. If you have any suggestions for any films or workshops or speakers, please feel free to speak to me after the event. A few logistics before we get started. If everyone can please silence their phones. You know you don't want to be that person. Bathrooms. There's one to the left in the corner, and there's one to the right. There's even one on the second floor if you need it. Thank you for your donations. This is a free public event, and we really welcome your donations. They help to contribute to this beautiful space. Thank you to all the volunteers tonight. I want to give a special thank you to all the co-sponsors, 350 Mass, Climate X Change, MA Sierra Club, Sustainable Wellesley, No Sharon Gas Pipeline, Boston Clean Energy Coalition, Resist the Pipeline, Unitarian Universalist Mass Action Network, Elders Climate Action, Sunrise, Jewish Climate Action Network, Climate Action Brookline, and the committee to elect Tommy Vitolo. Please, a warm thank you to all of the sponsors. Moment to recognize if there's any elected officials in the building. Anyone? Okay, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize it just in case. So the program will open with a statement, some prepared questions, and then some live Q&A from the audience with some closing remarks. But before we get started in introducing the event, I wanted to share that on Wednesday, there is a forum. Author William Powers, who wrote the book 12 by 12 on tiny houses. His new book is called Dispatches from the Sweet Life. Him and his wife and his daughter moved to Bolivia, and it's a very interesting story. So we're really honored to have him here on Wednesday. Jay Gonzalez served as Secretary. Served as Secretary of Administration and Finance in Massachusetts under Governor Deval Patrick from 2009 to 2013. A member of the Democratic Party, he is the party's nominee for Governor of Massachusetts in 2018. Please give a warm Jamaica Plain welcome to
Thank you, everyone. It is great to be here in JP with all of you. I want to just start by thanking you. There are a lot of organizations that Annie mentioned that help pull this together, and a lot of people in this room who I've gotten to know over the course of this campaign who care deeply about our climate and climate change issues and climate change policy. I've had many intense conversations with many of you over the course of this campaign, and I'm grateful for it. And you should know that your engagement and passion and commitment matters. It matters. Showing up to stuff like this matters. Supporting organizations like the ones that Annie mentioned matters. Holding your elected officials accountable matters. So I want to thank you for what you do, because at the end of the day, your engagement, your commitment to these issues, your pushing your government leaders is what's ultimately going to make the difference to making sure we take care of this monumental challenge we have and actually address it with the leadership we need. So give yourselves a round of applause. Now, I'm about to be interrogated on a whole series of issues relating to climate change. We're going to go deep on a lot of stuff. So I want to just spend a few minutes telling you a little bit about myself and my campaign at a higher level, and then we'll dig in. So I am running for governor because I care about people, I want to make a difference in people's lives, and I want to take on the big challenges that we face. And I believe in our potential to do so. No one has taught me more about our potential for progress than my parents. During college, my mom went away on a foreign exchange program to Spain. 9 months later, she came back married to my 19-year-old Spanish father and pregnant with me. And I love telling that story to parents who have kids going on foreign exchange programs. Really freaks them out. But it was tough for them at first. My mom had to drop out of college to take care of me. My dad didn't speak English, and he'd never been to college. But they believed and worked hard. They raised 3 sons. My mom became a public school teacher and a member of the teachers union. My dad worked his way from laying bricks in a city sewer system to becoming a successful small businessman and a proud American citizen. They were just little guys who believed. But the values I learned from my parents are not unique to my family. They're our values, American values. We have always believed we can overcome any challenge if we put our mind to it and we work for it. It's one of the things I love about us and that I believe makes us and this country special. But sadly, we don't see these values in some of our elected leaders today. Many of us are angry and appalled at the direction of our nation. It has consumed us. We've poured our energy and activism into resisting. And because of that, we've paid less attention to our leadership here at home. And we've lowered our expectations. Now look, I get it. For many, it's just a relief to have a governor who seems nice and isn't a crazy right-wing extremist. Right? With Donald Trump setting the bar so low, nice and not crazy seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. But it's not good enough. Not for us. Not for Massachusetts. Now is not the time for us to be lowering our expectations. It's time to raise them. The only place we're going to make progress on the challenges holding regular people back and the big challenges we face right now is at the state level. Now more than ever, we need real leadership right here in Massachusetts. It's not good enough to simply accept the world the way it exists and try to manage it better. We need a governor who's going to see the way the world should be and take us to that place. Let's aim high. Let's aim high. Let's be us. No one has reached higher, worked harder, and accomplished more together than the incredible people of Massachusetts. I'm getting a stop sign, but I got, because my competitor in this race chose not to show up today, I understand I got a couple of extra minutes, so I'm taking them.
Take them.
I'm taking them. But nobody's accomplished more than Massachusetts. We started the Revolutionary War. We were the first to establish a public school and a public park. The first to recognize one's right to marry whomever you love. The first to make universal health insurance coverage a reality. The list goes on and on and on. This is who we are. We have always been a leader. Well, it is time for us to lead again. And when I'm your governor, we will aim high, and we will take on the big challenges we face and make a meaningful difference in people's lives. We'll aim high by investing an additional $3 billion each year to actually fix our education and transportation systems, and we'll do it by asking the wealthy to pay their fair share. We will give every child and family in this state access to high-quality, affordable child care and preschool. We'll make sure that every child has access to a great public education, make our public universities and community colleges affordable and debt-free. We will fix our transportation system so that people can actually depend on it to get to work on time. We'll aim high for more affordable housing. We'll be more aggressive in fighting the opioid crisis. There are a whole series of areas where we will be more ambitious. But yes, among them is taking on climate change, the biggest threat to our planet. We're going to talk about more details, but we will accelerate our transition to renewable energy. We will stop the expansion of natural gas pipeline infrastructure in this state. We'll be the first state in the nation to adopt carbon pricing. And much more. And we'll get into that. And in addition to being much more aggressive about dealing with the threat of climate change, we will be much more aggressive about taking advantage of the opportunity it presents to create thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs right here in Massachusetts. We can be and should be the world's leader in the clean energy sector. And if I'm governor, we're going to do everything we can to make that happen. The last thing I want to say before we go deeper on climate change. We will also aim high when it comes to how we treat people. And this is important. Governor Baker's been terrible about standing up to hate and discrimination at a time when we desperately need public leaders standing up to hate and discrimination. Pretends like he isn't like those other Republicans. But he just endorsed Jeff Deal to replace Elizabeth Warren as our United States Senator. Jeff Deal, the co-chair of Donald Trump's campaign in Massachusetts. Make no mistake, by supporting Jeff Deal, Charlie Baker is basically sending a Donald Trump rubber stamp to the United States Senate. And he is backing an anti-environment, anti-LGBTQ, anti-choice, anti-immigrant, pro-NRA agenda. He's asking us to send someone to Washington who would vote to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court. It's not okay. We need a governor who will stand up for women's rights and workers' rights and LGBTQ rights and immigrants and common sense gun laws, not just some of the time, but all of the time. Not just reluctantly, but wholeheartedly. I will be that governor. I will stand up for every single person in this state. I will see you and hear you and respect you. And while I will operate from the head, I will lead from the heart. We can do this. We can do all of these things that I just talked about if we've got leadership that is actually pushing to make it happen. So I'm very excited to get into the discussion now with Annie and to get all of your hopefully easy questions and look forward to the discussion.
Before we get into this, I actually forgot I wanted to mention congratulations because President Barack Obama endorsed Jay Gonzalez today.
Thank you for mentioning